Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Liz and welcome back to Age of Engineering. In the last episode, we were working with Applied Energistics, something I've been looking forward to for quite a while. We have the crystal growth accelerators, we got the ME controller, and basic setup, so a crafting terminal, a drive, some storage, and all that kind of stuff. But in all honesty, we're not quite ready to just go flat out with Applied Energistics yet. We're getting there, but not quite. So between episodes, I've just been kind of figuring out what to do, what's next, and all that kind of fun stuff. Hopefully this isn't a thunderstorm. Hopefully it's just rain, so I don't have to worry about going to the overworld and sleeping. But yeah, so we need to do some stuff. And I'll be honest, I didn't have all that much time to prep today. Apologies. Kind of in a rush. When this goes up, I'll be just returning from a trip, so yeah, I gotta get this done ahead of time. But yeah, so first things first, I went ahead and made another carpenter, and this is going to allow us to hopefully automate everything we need in terms of the circuits. So that is going to be one step for today. We're going to automate the circuit boards from forestry, the 3 that we're going to need for all of Applied Energistics with the inscriber. One of these days we'll make more inscribers. That'll be later. That'll be kind of a task in itself just because the inscribers are not cheap. I also want to automate this guy just so that we can start working on some other things, and we might get into a little bit of integrated dynamics or tech reborn. Don't know about that yet. So let's start with the basics. We're going to want to make all the circuit boards from Applied Energistics, forestry. We need to make all the circuit boards for forestry so we can make the processors from Applied Energistics. It's complicated, I know. Apologies, I'm a little scatterbrained. So, what do we need to do? Well, we're going to need to have some item conduits. We're going to need some filters. We're going to need a handful of filters today anyway, so we need hoppers. How much iron do we have? We might need to go get more iron. I might have some more underneath in the void ore miner. This thing will eventually get moved, by the way. This is not its final resting place. Do we have more iron in here? Uh-oh. I'm not seeing any. Nope. Okay, let's turn that on. And it'll work. It'll do its thing for a while. And hopefully we get some more iron, because we're going to need quite a bit of iron for today. But we're going to need some filters. We're going to need... just grab this much iron for now. We're going to need a little bit of wood, not much of that. And I think 3 filters will be fine. So here is the challenge, and this is kind of why what we're about to do is annoying. So basically, we need to insert into 3 different machines which have their own inventories a variety of things. And the problem comes from the fact that so we need the basic circuit boards. These make the engineering circuits. We need the refined, which make the calculation, and the intricates, which make the logic. We're going to be using the logic the most, but they all require different circuits, which is fine. That part is easy. Different base ingredients, so diamonds, gold, and pure Certus quartz. We'll get to that after a bit, automating that. And then it requires 4 redstone. And that's the problem. So all these guys are going to require 4 redstone ingots. And so how do we tell which one is which? We have 2 options with this. We can either, when this is set up, have 3 different we can either have 3 different settings so that each one is full. So we have, okay, so it's the intricate that we need, or the pure Certus quartz, that's the last one. So we can either have it set up so that these guys only receive so many, but then how would the system know where to put them? Well, what we're going to do is once we get an interface over here and it's hooked up to the Applied Energistics system, what we'll probably end up doing is having it stocked with a set number of redstone ingots and then a set number of we could probably do a set number of diamonds, or we could do a set number of the circuits, so it keeps one of each, and then fill it with diamonds or gold or Certus quartz. That might be a good way to do it. So that's just something we're gonna have to think about. For now though, we're not really gonna do too much with these guys. We need some fluid conduits, but that's just kind of a consideration we're gonna have to figure out relatively soon. I realize the filters aren't really gonna be needed yet, so we're gonna wait on that. I need fluid conduits. Do we have better fluid conduits yet? Or are we still working on the basic ones? What are the ones we have over here? Because we'll want to upgrade these eventually. These are just fluid conduits. Okay, so let's just get this set up. And it's not going to connect until I smack it with a wrench and tell it you can. And then that'll fill up with water. Perfect. So the other thing that we're going to have to automate for our system, so those are bad enough. We'll need to get more inscribers. The inscribers, as we've seen before, are not the funnest thing to make. We're going to need 5 in total, so we're going to need 4 more of these. The thermal binder is bad enough, requires a machine frame. We can make those with UU matter. Stabilized ender pearls are easy enough. Mica, we have a good bit. Everything else is pretty easy. But it also requires an atomic module, which we're going to want to make from the fabrication chamber, and that's just a pain. And the stable stone requires basalt, which we'll probably want to automate that as well. We'll worry about that after a little bit. But let's jump to the other thing that's kind of more important, is crystal growth accelerator. Now, something I just kind of want to do for the fun of it is let's make the drying basin from integrated dynamics. We're going to need this for later, so that's just a couple of logs. I have a whole bunch of birch in here. I believe it's 5 logs. We're going to need an ink sac, which I should have somewhere. Does it require an ink sac? No, any type of black dye. So we can just grab Black Lotus, and we can make this guy. So the main reason we want this is just to have it more than anything right now. But the drying basin is going to allow us to make crystal mineral. And that is super important. So let's take like a couple of these logs, and we can put it into the squeezer. If we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them into the squeezer, they'll get squeezed out. And for right now, because we don't really have anything for this automatically or anything, we can put the drying basin there and bucket it out. So then you get these textures and it will dry. We also have a chance to get some other pieces, and it'll solidify into this block of crystallized mineral, which we can then turn into mineral chunks. And that is useful for the integrated dynamics, which we'll get to eventually. I don't know if we're going to need to use it anytime soon, but I just want to go ahead and make one of those. So that is just kind of an aside more than anything. Let's throw this in here, and the birch wood can go away. Alright, so the next thing that we need to automate, and this is the most important thing, so we can get rid of the drying basin. Like I said, I don't really have a use for integrated dynamics yet. I know it's really useful for automating the oils, the empowered canola oil. There's a really cool way you can do that, but right now we don't really need it. So we're gonna want to grab a couple of new things. We're gonna want to grab an automatic precision dropper and a vacuum chest in order to automate the crystals. And this will actually automate all the crystals. It doesn't actually matter. So this is going to be kind of cool. And we're going to use the precision dropper later for automating anything with the laser as well. And that is something we could probably also... actually, no, we should be able to just automate that without having to worry about integrated dynamics. So we need to make one of these automatic precision droppers. And it's a dropper with advanced coil and some pathless crystals. So that is gold coil, some redstone, 2 of these. Let's see, we're also going to need gold. What's the best way? Metal form. 2 ingots of gold is all we need. And black quartz. That's the other thing. Do I not currently have any black quartz? I have a ton of the ore, so let's get this going. Hey, it's day again. So I believe we grind it up and then cook it up. And that should be black quartz. Perfect. So with that we can make... Oh, there's the black quartz. I kind of knew that I had some, I just didn't realize it was sitting there. Alright, so we need to come over here to our IC2 stuff. Really quick aside, we are full on distilled water, which is really nice. We have a lot of distilled water. That is something that is going to be handy later. So we need to make, let's see, the coil, basic coil, we'll get that upgraded. We're going to need a dropper, which is redstone and stone. And some more cobblestone. Cool. So it's actually not that expensive. We already have everything we need for the advanced coil, and we can make the precision dropper. So why do we want to make a precision dropper? Well, to put it simply, it's better. We just need a little. Actually, we need nothing. We have everything. Once we shoot the lapis with the laser. And now we should be able to make everything. So droppers are kind of notorious for not dropping things exactly centered. This will. It also has an inventory and all sorts of things. So all in all, this is a much nicer way. We're going to set this up right here just for now. And we're going to have it deactivation. So theoretically, we put something in here and it drops directly down into this water. And that's what we want to see. So eventually this will have a whole bunch of things that will go into it to make different things, such as flux crystals, pure Certus crystals, and maybe even pure nether quartz. Not sure about that last one, just because I don't know if we're going to need it or not. Let's grab this. We might use that today. So the other part that we need is a vacuum chest, and this is going to be where a filter comes in handy. So let's go ahead and make a single filter. That is not how you make a filter. Right, it's aluminum. That is a lot easier. I think I have a lot of aluminum actually. Not that much, but enough. So we're going to need a lot of aluminum for later to get titanium. That is something that we'll discover very soon. But we just need some paper now, for paper, and that'll give us a filter. And I think that's all we'll need for the time being. So there's the filter, and we just need a pulsating crystal, which is some pulsating iron and a diamond. So if we have the pulsating iron, this will be easy. We do, and I'm going to just use a full nugget, or full ingot rather, to get this. And what this is going to give us is a vacuum chest. And why is a vacuum chest important? Well, to put it simply, it's going to allow us to pick up the items as we need them. And the really cool thing about this is we don't have to worry about... So, okay. This is going to drop items into this little spot. We can put a vacuum chest right here, and we can set the range to like 2. So it'll look 2 blocks in any direction. You can even show the range, and it'll show the range it will pick up items. We might even be able to bump that down to 1. So that is a very small range around it, and that's fine. So here's the cool thing. Right now, if we throw redstone, it gets picked up. But if we put a filter in here and have a whitelist, we'll keep it empty for right now. And now we throw redstone. Empty whitelist let's just put something in there. It won't pick it up, which means we can drop things and never have to worry about it. So it's gonna drop all the redstone on us. And so what we'll want for this is any flux crystals, pure flux crystals, and pure Certus crystals. So if we think of how these are made, the flux crystal is redstone. It's charged Certus quartz, nether quartz, and redstone. So that is fine. It's not going to pick up anything else. Pure flux crystals require seeds. Same with the Certus quartz. Nether quartz is a seed. And the only thing else that we'd want to put in there potentially, actually, I think that's all we're going to want. So it's not going to pick up anything else. So we can make automatically whatever we need, such as these pure Certus crystals and all that kind of stuff. So that is just kind of more automation. One of the biggest things with Applied Energistics is getting to the point where you can replicate the system itself, and that's going to require interfaces. So once the system knows how to make more of itself, you're good to go. So we're going to need to make interfaces. That's formation cores, glass, and iron. Let's make our first interface. And I believe we can use the quite clear glass. I don't think that matters. We already have the 2 cores. So with the interface, there we go. That is going to be important for some stuff very, very soon. Let's take out all these lights. Put that in there. Certus quartz can go somewhere else. Let's put the lights in here, I guess. So, yeah, what all do we need to automate the system itself? So we're going to need interfaces. That is kind of important. Eventually, we'll want to make an interface terminal. We'll get to that later. That's not as important right now. We're going to want crafting processors. So these are going to require more storage components. So that is more circuits, more logic processors, and all that kind of fun stuff. And that's where having a little bit of automation over here is going to be nice. And this is where I'd want like filters and stuff. Now we're going to need to make those eventually, but for right now, we can probably do this. Have this be insert, extract always active, and we're going to need gold, the black circuits, and redstone. So we'll put redstone ingots in there. And we're going to want to grab some gold. And then the circuits. So we'll have to come up with a clever way to kind of manage the forestry machines so that they don't fill up with everything. But we need everything but I believe the rubble looking stuff. No, it's the F, the square, and the rubble. Not the square within the square. So let's grab like... We don't have many of those. That is unfortunate. Are we getting anything good yet? Nope, not really. So we can put these in here. And there is enough storage that it's not that big of a deal, but we will want to kind of manage this so that it doesn't fill up too much with one type over another. So we need 2 more of these, and then as many of these as we can get. So how can we get the rubble looking guys? We need 5 of them. So that is something we're probably gonna, I'll probably do a lot of this kind of off camera. Once I can. So the rubble looking things, let's actually look at the precision chamber. Sand. That appears to be sand. Okay, well that one's easy. So let's grab a stack of sand, we'll get a bunch of the rubble guys, and we'll be good. So for the rest of the episode, what I want to do is I want to start making some of the machines that we're going to need. So with this little bit of automation, we'll kind of slowly get into basically making more of it. But for the time being, this should be enough. And I'll make circuits and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, if I can make a bunch of circuits, have those done for next time, I think we can start working on actually getting getting the machines up and running so that we can start auto crafting. So that's kind of where we're at. So why don't we start making some of the machines from Tech Reborn. We're not going to necessarily set them up or use them yet, but having them is good enough. So the ones that we're going to want right away, we're going to want the Industrial Electrolyser, which is going to require 4 refined iron, 3 extractors, and 2 advanced circuits. Now the advanced circuits are the annoying thing. We're going to need to make... we have the empowered redstone, that part's nice. Let's make empowered lapis. We should have plenty of power to do this. It's just a matter of getting it done. So this requires what? Prismarine, blue slime, raw fish, and cobalt. So all of that is not too bad. There's the cobalt. The raw fish is kind of annoying, as well as the blue slime. No, blue slime's fine. It's 2 of those, a sand and a dirt, I do believe, right? How do we get the blue slime? It's been a while since I've had to do this. Oh, it's only 1. Okay. And we'll cook that up. That will take like next to no time. Then we need a raw fish and prismarine. The raw fish is the annoying thing, just because I don't have anything set up for raw fish. And then prismarine is what? It's quartz, isn't it? That we laser. Yes, we can laser quartz. So that part's not too bad. I can manage that. Those are all ores. Just make sure we don't have any fish before we go fishing. We have a clownfish. We have salmon. Be nice if I could turn that into the raw fish, but we can't. So I don't think we have any raw fish. Let's grab a fishing rod and let's go fish. So one of the things that we're going to have to kind of consider for the relatively near future is IC2 power. I don't really want to continue using nuclear. The reason being is it's incredibly costly. Getting all of the uranium is a pain. There's not enough of it in the world, and we're not really getting enough from it from our lasers. So there we go. So it's really not worth it to continue using nuclear as the main source of power. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look into some of the other options, which I believe is probably going to involve biodiesel or something like that. I say biodiesel, it's not technically biodiesel, but you'll see what I mean when we get there. So we're gonna have to look into better power options, because we are gonna need to have a decent supply of power, and eventually we'll get creative power. That'll be nice, but solar panels aren't a bad option. The liquid heat exchange is kind of nice for, at the very least, getting Pahoho lava, and we might as well use a Stirling generator with it. But using these turbines are probably going to be the other option. Now we are going to need some circuits. 6, We need 12 rubber, 2 iron plates, right? We're going to need more than this, but we'll get what we need. We'll get the advanced circuits, and then we'll worry about the rest. So something like this. A little bit of redstone. And then we'll need a little bit of glowstone as well. We're nearly out of glowstone up here. I still have plenty of blocks, so let's just break a block. That, I believe, is the best way to get the glowstone. So as soon as this is done, which that's something else we're going to need. Oh, wow, that's like out of power. What is using so much power? Calculator, probably. So you know what? This is going to be really silly, but it will fill up very quickly. Let's grab that. And let's go over to calculator. Oh, it's also this. This thing is probably draining my power. We got a little bit of iron though, so not completely not worth it. I forgot that was on. That was probably draining most of our power, but let's come over here. And this will fill up. Why is it going in there? No, I want it the other way. Can we just come under here, and if I put this guy here, I want input, not output. There we go. That'll charge up fairly quickly. I mean, we only have, what, 4 million RF in here? We're about to get a lot more. This is actually not a bad option for power as well. We might use it with like a battery to supply some power to our calculator area. I don't know yet. We might make more and use them for powering some really crazy things later. Probably not though. That will take too many. But now we should be able to put this back. We'll turn the output back off, and this should be finished soon enough. We can get the circuits. So the other part we need for the industrial electrolyzer is a bunch of extractors. So that is going to require a bunch of iron plates. So that is kind of a pain. We don't need the machine block, actually. That we might need for the industrial grinder. I don't know if we're going to end up making one of those yet or not. But we're also going to need a little bit more copper. And more rubber. So tree taps and all that kind of stuff. We're going to need to make a lot of tree taps. We're going to need 12 in total. But this machine will allow us to start getting the next kind of materials that we're going to need. So we'll get there. Let's just grab some rubber, resin, whatever. Make sure we get all the sides. And yeah, this series is going to take a while to get through some of this stuff just because it is such a pain. Oh, great. I fell. It's such a pain to get some of the resources we need, and we need a lot of them, which is why I was saying I don't know that I want to do nuclear power solely. I almost want to find a more renewable way to do syngas, and the reason being is, all in all, it's going to be better. Now, what way we're going to get syngas, I haven't decided yet, and kind of temporarily until we can make a really good gas turbine. We're probably going to want 2 of these guys, and we'll have them underneath the base, one supplying power to our Neotech, or not Neotech, Tech Reborn, and then one to our IC2. it's going to be kind of a pain. So we have some rubber. We're going to need more wires, more than anything. But we're going to need 3 more circuits and 3 blocks of iron. So let's go grab the iron that our stuff made. That is still processing. That's terrifying. So get the 8 iron we got from our laser. I also noticed some bauxite in there. That's nice. But we're gonna want to grind this up. And yeah, hopefully this stuff is... Oh, it's actually getting enough power. It's just not all of them are. That one's completely full. Huh. Interesting. So I don't really care about the rest of the stuff. We'll put that in my inventory. I'll deal with it later. And let's just grab just 1 block. 2 blocks. We need 3 blocks of iron. So I need 2 more iron. Do I have it? I have another block. Okay, that'll work. And then we're going to need a little bit more iron. So, in fact, 3 plates. So I think 2 more plates. Actually, that will make more than plates than we need. So let's just put this in the block cutting machine. We are going to need 12, 18. So 3 more rubber. And that should be everything. So we don't actually need any more iron for this. And there's the palace crystal. So that took a while. These things are expensive. And then the last thing we're going to need is a bunch of wood turned into tree taps. And then also the, I can't forget about the other thing. What's it called? The refined iron, which is steel melted down and then solidified again. So we need some steel. We only need 4 ingots, so hopefully we have some back here. Something else we're going to want to work on relatively soon is more machines with immersive engineering. That is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but not too bad. It's just going to be a little time consuming. But electric crucible, that will get to work. It'll take a little bit of time. Eventually we can upgrade it and then solidify it into the refined iron. It'll be fine. So for the time being, let's see, we need 12 times 5, that's 60. 40, it's 15 logs. And just fill up our inventory. All the tree taps go in there. We'll get the circuits and everything over here. But everything else should be done. We should be able to make all the extractors and get what we need. So 1, 2, 3. And there's the 3 machine blocks. And that will be all we need for the Industrial Electrolyser. So why do we need this? Well, you'll see very soon that Tech Reborn really likes the whole complicated things. This is something that I got from, it's based off, I believe, Greg Tech, and that's the main reason why it's complicated. But basically, we're going to be using this guy, not the grinder, the electrolyzer. Why is this? Oh, because it's used in the grinder. We'll need to make another one of these if we want to make the grinder. I don't know if we need the grinder. But the electrolyzer is used. There's 9 recipes, and the most important ones for us are, let's see, where is it? Nope, none of those. Okay, here we go. Ruby dust turns into chrome dust with aluminum and some compressed air. The chrome we then have to use either a blast furnace from this mod or an arc furnace from Immersive Engineering to make chrome. And then we'll need chrome for things later. And then the other thing is bauxite will make small piles of titanium with aluminum, hydrogen, and compressed air. Now, I'm realizing that we probably don't need as much room as I'm kind of laying out. So what we might end up doing is having power over here in a big room, and that supplying power to everything in here, and just putting these machines kind of around wherever we need them. Now that might require us to move this guy further down the line. What is this guy? This is a medium, so 128. This guy outputs 128, so we can put him right here once it's made. And we might. I don't believe it's a multi-block. That's the only thing I don't know for sure. I know the guide's talking about, I was reading through the guide, by the way. It talks about the industrial grinder, so you can get additional items from grinding ores. It's a multi-block. It's a pain, and then there's industrial blast furnace, which is also a multi-block, and it's also a pain. We're going to use the immersive engineering. We'll need iridium ingots later. I actually don't know about that one. Let's look together. So iridium ingots. Not that one. Tech Reborn. So we can get it from the industrial grinder. Or let's see, what are the iridium ingots used for? Stuff that iridium iron plates, which is going to be used for solar panels. But can we make that with any kind of other iridium? We can get that from compressing iridium ore. But I know this we can get from iridium ore, or we can get the nuggets from sheldonite with the grinder, or we can centrifuge platinum to get nuggets. So that's something we might want to look into. What else was it saying? For iridium plates you need, okay, tungsteel. So if we need more, we'll kind of look into it later. And honestly, what we can do is have that in the basement. So we'll move all of the machines over here, up over here, and kind of worry about things later. So that might require us to move some stuff, but that's fine. So there is our refined ingots, refined iron. We can go ahead and place these down and get the Industrial Electrolyser. So with that super expensive machine, it's not that expensive, but it was just annoying. Let's go ahead and place it. It didn't explode. Everything seems to be fine. And what we can do is let's go get some bauxite. And this is where the grinder would be more useful. So we have a good bit of bauxite. If we look at the uses of it, you can crush it for 2, but you can industrial grind it for 4. However, it requires EU. I think let's just go ahead and grind it up in here and get occasionally 4. So that much bauxite dust, we can come over here to the Industrial Electrolyser. We'll throw it in here. And it also needs empty cells. I forgot about that part. Empty cells. So these things are made with just 10. Okay, that's easy enough. Let's make like a stack or so. And we can get our very first pit of titanium. Let's do 16. And I think I'm definitely going to have to start working on getting a little bit more stuff together for all of this, for this series in general, go mining and all that kind of fun stuff. So it is incredibly slow, but doesn't really use much power. We can upgrade it with overclockers, I do believe. I don't know if there's a different one. For this mod or not. Let's see. I know I have some. Can I shift click that? No, those don't go in there. So Tech Reborn probably has its own set of things. We might look into that to make things go faster, but maybe not. I'm not seeing anything. So that's all Neotech. And energy flow circuits. I don't think any of these are. So the coolant cells. No, those aren't really used for anything. Machine parts. I don't see anything that indicates any sort of overclocking speed. So we're just going to have to be patient, I guess. That's annoying. I don't want to be patient. What is that? Wooden plates. Actually wooden plates. Okay, so there we have our first little bit of titanium dust. We'll need to turn that into a small pile, and then we can blast furnace that into titanium. And then what we need to do to get to the next age is, I believe, the machine structure. So we're going to need chrome and steel rods. So chrome is the more important thing. Chrome is similarly gotten from chrome dust, which we can get in the industrial electrolyzer with uvorite, whatever this stuff is, which is yellow garnet. You get a little bit of it from that, or rubies. So we might look at the industrial centrifuge, just because yellow garnet, we can crush up those guys, and that is sphalerite, which I believe we have a good bit of. So that's something we could also do, and that will give us a bit of chrome, a little bit more processing, but that is definitely something we can pretty easily do. Yeah, we have a yellow garnet. We have some rubies. Wasn't the red garnets that's used for... Yeah. So the rubies are used for making... we grind it up into dust. It's a 1-to-1. And then that will make us chrome with 9. So that is kind of the more important thing right now. So I'll kind of look into this. We might make a couple more machines from Neotech. Or Tech Reborn. I keep getting those two mixed up in my head. But that, I think, is going to be it for today's episode. So I'm going to look into the best way to get all of the things we want from Tech Reborn right now. And then I'm also going to work on getting as many circuits as I possibly can. This thing is probably full. It is. So we can just go ahead and do this. And I will kind of deal with all that for a bit. But yeah, so I will take a look and see what all we can get into. And the next episode, we're going to probably... It depends greatly on how much prepping I can do before next episode. I should be able to get a bit done. And the plan will be, we're going to try to get as much... 4 or 5. Applied Energistics up as we can. Otherwise, what we'll probably end up doing is working with Industrial, Immersive Engineering, or Tech Reborn. One of the two. So that's the plan. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!